Greetings learners, welcome to Open School, your one-stop solution for learning various subjects in a fun and engaging way. At Open School, we believe in making education accessible and enjoyable. Our channel covers a wide array of subjects, from science and math to languages and arts. We pride ourselves on our interactive approach, ensuring that you're not just absorbing information, but truly understanding it. Today, we dive into the world of English language, exploring the concept of uncountable nouns. Stick with us till the end for a clear understanding. So, what are uncountable nouns? In simple terms, uncountable nouns are words that represent things we cannot count or measure using numbers. They are often concepts or substances that we perceive as a whole or in a mass, rather than as distinct units. Uncountable nouns are fascinating, aren't they? They defy the usual rules we apply to most nouns. Let's dive in and understand them a bit more. For instance, consider the word information. We can't count information, right? We can't say one information, two informations, and so forth. It's just information. Similarly, advice is another uncountable noun. We give advice, not an advice or two advices. But it's not just abstract concepts that fall into this category. Even some physical things are seen as uncountable. Take air, for example. We don't count air, we just breathe it. We can't say one air, two airs. It's simply air. And what about milk? We don't count milk. We don't say one milk, two milks. We say a glass of milk, a bottle of milk, a jug of milk. Milk, in this context, is an uncountable noun. It's interesting to note that many uncountable nouns are substances or materials like water, sand, wood, or gold. Others represent collective groups or categories, like furniture or equipment, and yet others represent abstract ideas or experiences, like happiness, education, or progress. Remember, the key characteristic that makes these nouns uncountable is that we can't count them using numbers. They represent things that are seen as a whole or mass. This is what sets them apart from countable nouns, which represent things we can count, like apple, book, or car. So, to recap, uncountable nouns represent things that we can't count using numbers. They are often things we see as a whole or mass, like information, air, advice, milk, and so many others. Remember, uncountable nouns are nouns you cannot count. They represent things that are seen as a whole or mass. Now that we know what uncountable nouns are, it's crucial to understand how to use them correctly. Uncountable nouns, as we've learned, are those that we can't count individually. They refer to things we see as a whole or in general terms. But how do we use these in sentences? There are a few simple rules to remember. Firstly, uncountable nouns are treated as singular. This means that when we use them in a sentence, we pair them with singular verbs. For example, we say, "The furniture is new," not "The furniture are new." Here, furniture, an uncountable noun, is paired with is, a singular verb. Secondly, uncountable nouns do not have a standard plural form, so you won't hear people saying furnitures or equipments. It's always furniture and equipment. However, there are exceptions to this rule. Certain uncountable nouns can take a plural form to express different types or instances of the thing. For example, we might talk about the wines of France to refer to different types of wine from that country. Finally, when we want to indicate quantity with uncountable nouns, we use quantifiers. These are words or phrases like some, a lot of, much, or a piece of. So we would say, "I didn't get much sleep," or "There's a lot of traffic today." Remember, not all quantifiers work with all uncountable nouns. For instance, we wouldn't say 3 breads. Instead, we would say 3 loaves of bread or 3 slices of bread. In conclusion, uncountable nouns may seem a bit tricky at first, but with these rules in mind, they become much easier to handle. When in doubt, remember to treat uncountable nouns as singular, pair them with singular verbs, and use appropriate quantifiers to express quantity. Just remember, uncountable nouns are always singular and take singular verbs. They also don't usually have a plural form. Let's quickly recap what we've learned about uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns, as we've discussed, are those nouns that cannot be counted using numbers because they are perceived as wholes or mass. They don't usually have a plural form, and we can't use a or an before these nouns. Examples include words like music, information, rice, and love. These are things that we can't divide into separate elements, so we can't count them with numbers. We've also explored the rules for using uncountable nouns. Remember, since these nouns are not countable, we use singular verb forms with them. For instance, we say, the information is useful, not the information are useful. We also learned that we can't use a or an before uncountable nouns. It's incorrect to say a music or an advice. Instead, we use some quantifiers like some, a lot of, much, a piece of, before these nouns depending on the context. Understanding uncountable nouns is a critical step towards mastering English grammar. They may seem a bit tricky at first, but with consistent practice and application, they become a lot easier to grasp. It's important to familiarize yourself with common uncountable nouns and the rules associated with them. This will not only enhance your written communication, but also improve your spoken English. Practice using these nouns in sentences and pay attention to their usage when you read or listen to English. And remember, the key to mastering any aspect of language is practice. The more you practice, the better you'll get. That's all about uncountable nouns. Keep practicing and you'll master them in no time. Well, that brings us to the end of our lesson on uncountable nouns. If you found this helpful, show your support by giving us a thumbs up and sharing this video with your friends. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the Open School community and never miss an opportunity to learn something new. If there's a topic you're curious about or a question you'd like us to address in a future video, drop us a comment below. Thank you for joining us today at Open School. Keep learning, keep growing. Until next time.